Hey guys, welcome back to my series on RV lithium and solar. We're going to permanently install this. One of the challenges with doing that is the exhaust. And so in today's video, we will be welding on an adapter. I got this off eBay. So this has a tapered connection on one side and a much larger connection on the other side. What that allows me to do is take some flexible pipe like this. Once this is welded onto the Honda's muffler, I can insert this. Clamp is on, so it's a little tight, but I'm going to use the other end. I can insert this into the pipe, theoretically. This side's a little bent. It does fit, I promise you. I don't want to cut my hand on that hose, but this would slip in there and clamp in place, and that allows me to run the exhaust from the Honda out of the generator bay to the outside. I also picked up another little for the muffler where it seats onto the exhaust header, I guess you'd call it. I picked up another little, for the life of me, I can't remember the name, gasket. Now I have had this this muffler off a couple of times. I actually put this on with some JB Weld. I didn't get a really good connection on it. It was a little bit looser than I wanted. So I took it off, cleaned it up. Actually, I bought a new one of these. It wasn't like 12, 14 bucks. JB Weld kind of gunked up the other one. But I did do this once. Like I said, just wasn't happy with the JB Weld, so I'm actually going to really weld it this time. So the first step is to remove the back of the generator here. Alright, now you'll see that mine is painted red. I did paint it with some caliper paint. The reason I did that is to prevent any rust. And you can see here, this is where I kind of filed up and cleaned up the old muffler. This does attach like so and gets welded on. Pretty simple, as long as you can weld. I do recommend welding it. JB Weld just didn't work out really well. Alright, this bottom bolt is a little bit longer, so just make sure you keep track of that. So here's the muffler. Now, a couple things to note on this. There's a screen. I did put this back together once and forgot to put the screen back in, so don't do that. We're going to be welding onto this exhaust port right here. But the supplier of this adapter also recommends that if you really want to seal it up, to run a bead of weld all the way around this back edge here. This is just rolled into place. There's no actual seal. I'm not that good of a welder. If I did that, this thing would look like a heap. So I am going to use some RTV. I'm going to put some RTV around here, blue silicone, high temperature silicone. And then after welding this on, just because I am a crappy welder, I'm going to run a little bit of RTV just around the whole welded area here. And the reason I want to do that is, again, if there's a little pinhole or a gap in the weld, I do want to make sure that we're getting as much of that exhaust fume out of the way. There's no way we're going to be able to completely remove all the exhaust fumes, but the more we can get out, the better. So Alright, I'm going to set up my welder, and I'm going to move this out of the way because it does have gas in it, and hey, you know what, welders and gasoline don't mix, so. Alright, we'll probably melt that a little bit, but we'll see. Alright, so I suspect I'm going to get a bunch of people bitching me out about welding with sandals and short sleeves and, I don't know, hairspray in my hair or whatever else. But, you know, quick little weld job here. I've never been the greatest welder, but I do get it hot enough to form a good bond. That's what's important here. We'll let this cool for a second, and then I'll beat it up a little bit. But as you can see, it's not a huge welding effort. So this does look like one of my awesome welding jobs. But it looks good. For somebody who sucks at welding, a grinder is that person's best friend. I've got my grinder kind of packed away, but I'll get a file or wire brush and whatever else and clean this up. Now, this stuff did darken right where the exhaust is. It's not a big deal to me, but make some barbecue paint that goes a little bit higher in temperature. If you're particular about it, I'd suggest getting that. I am not. I decided to just go ahead and paint the whole thing. All right, so this is high temperature RTV, and it's the red stuff. That worked out well. So went ahead and painted it. Got one good heavy coat on it. Had a shop teacher in high school tell me lots of light coats versus one heavy coat, but I've never been good at taking advice. Alright, we're going to let that dry. Give it about an hour for the RTV to set up, and I didn't let the paint dry for more than about 15-20 minutes, so we'll let that dry up really good too. Then we'll reinstall it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video before it gets out of hand. My daughter Christina agreed to kind of help me wrap it up, so let me show you guys the final product. So that's the final deal. I did use the red RTV on it. Matches pretty darn close. Didn't look like there were any pinholes or anything like that. That's my big weld bubble there that I didn't grind off. Christina. But you know, overall it's great. It's in there nice and it's in there nice. It's in there nice and sturdy. And we'll go ahead and reinstall it. A nice secure welded exhaust port, which we can now... No. Really? Which we can now put our flexible pipe onto and be able to get our exhaust. No? No? Now we can get our exhaust to vent outside of the trailer. There you have it. One exhaust port installed, and it's red.